We're live? Fantastic, we're live. Hello, everybody who is joining us at the beginning. Welcome to More Assembled Adventurers as with another round of Hell's Rebels. I am Ash. These are my lovely players. Say hi, lovely players.
Hi, lovely
players.
Thank you for humouring that joke still. So yeah, we're back at it again for this month, playing more Pathfinder, playing the Hell's Rebels Adventure Path, while raising money for the Albert Kennedy Trust, which is a charity dedicated to LGBT plus youth homelessness, tackling that and making sure that every LGBT plus child and young person has a safe place to live. But we're here to play Pathfinder, so let's get into it as we dive right back into Kintargo. A once beautiful city-state filled with arts, culture, and liberty, currently under martial law by the tyrannical Barzillai Thrune. But hopefully not for long, as our player party here are the founding members of the newly reformed Silver Ravens, a rebellion group, starting to gain power in order to take down his rule, hopefully for good. You guys have so far been starting to make connections, make a name for yourself among the common people. Doing good deeds here and there where you can, while the city moves around you. And from the sounds of it, you've managed to get a bit of a name for yourself at this point, as while you were in the Tooth and Nail, doing your investigations into various clues and rumors that you've been hearing, a Chalish lieutenant of a Chalish ship arrived with a message for you all from her captain, and offered an invitation, in quotation marks, to meet him on his ship, where she did say that attendance would be mandatory. One of you then promptly said, in more words, screw you, I will not be doing that. So I do believe, unless he's changed his mind, Gideon may be doing something else.
So let me see. Like, go onto a ship, be condescended to by somebody who literally can't walk off his ship, or spend the time with my delightful friend of many years. How will I live?
I know, it's such a hard decision for you. But the invitation is there for the rest of you, who I'll say that Sebastian and With, you could have caught up with the others at the Tooth and Nail, so could have seen all of this go down. So just to clue you guys in, this is a Lieutenant Elia Jones, half-elven, dark-haired woman dressed in a red and black uniform of a Chelish naval officer. She has a rapier. She has a pepperbox firearm, which is sheathed. She has very quickly downed a beer, which was gifted to her by Gideon, I believe, before he found out who she was. And she has delivered this invitation that the ship that she rides on is the Scourge of Belial. The captain is Captain Sargata, and he has requested your company. She's ready to lead you there as soon as you guys are ready to go.
Forgive me, Lieutenant. Could you just reassure me that this is not going to devolve into some attempt to press us or imprison us?
On what grounds would we do that?
Well, I hesitate to say on the grounds of the Church Navy's reputation, but just reassure me that's not what we're here to do, and I'll be happy to come with you.
You're citizens of Kintargo? Then you'll have nothing to worry about.
So on that topic, I have rolled a sense motive given what's going on.
Yeah.
And
Weird, that.
I like the fact that I was in the middle of finding my sense motive when Andrew kind of instinctually knew what I was hoping would be laid down.
Cool. So, this got dropped last time. I'll say it again as you're doing a fresh roll and as you're doing this. When she first introduced herself, she said that she was Lieutenant Elia Mones of the Chelish warship, the Scourge of Belial. Captain Salgater requests the company of those citizens who have so ably liberated a certain gathering of wrongfully imprisoned Hell Knights from unjust incarceration, and she's afraid attendance is compulsory. Those of you who have knowledge in nobility, who got high enough on sense motive and the rolls of the like, were able to tell that she avoided the standard introduction of a warship, which this is a Chalish warship, and they normally are introduced as her Infernal Magistrature's warship. So the fact that that is missing from her introduction is a subtle hint of that her captain might be dissatisfied with Thrune's methods. And on the note of on the note of what it is that Rachel's after, you do not get the sense that this is any kind of trap. If anything, you get the sense that they are reaching out to you because they want something from you.
Okay.
Which means that for the moment, you have the sense that they're probably going to try and play nice, shall we say.
Yeah, I mean, we're still lean in to Sebastian and say that I think we should just go along, see what they say. I mean, we're meant to be gathering allies, right? I mean, not our usual, like, I don't know, maybe our easiest made allies, but there's no reason why not, right?
This doesn't seem any less likely to me than us recruiting a group of Hell Knights.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
Exactly.
So then I believe 4 of you are going. 1 of you is staying behind to catch up with his long missing friend. Great. So Elia leads you through Kintargo, which is it's a walk that you guys do every day.
Do we have an easier time of it because we've got somebody in a Chelish naval uniform going first? Like, do we get less bother and checkpoints and stuff because they respect
So
uniform?
there won't be bother and checkpoints. There will be attention. However, will just say she is not going to the main harbour. She comes out of the Old Tooth and Nail. She starts walking down this one road. Bear in mind, she's the only one here. She didn't bring anyone with her. When you guys go to follow, you very quickly realise she isn't going towards the main harbour. She's going towards the Salt Gates, where the old harbour is, the one that's that's mainly used by merchants. Most activity, most traction, most of anything that you guys see happens at the main harbour, the one where Whist lives. This is Old Harbour. This is the corner of the map that she's taking you to.
Cool.
And as she does, she will try to make polite conversation with you. Like, it's not just a silent walk that happens where she just strides ahead. Like, you guys are walking and she just starts asking you about what kind of just trying to think of some examples. She starts asking you, what kind of songs and shows you'd like to see? I mean, you are in Kintargo. You're in the place of art and liberty. You know, what kind of art have you guys seen that has been quite she's trying to make small talk basically.
Is it? But I will ask: does this seem to just be small talk, like she's trying to be polite, or the fact that she's like, is this quite loaded? Like, you know, oh, you're in Kintargo. What's the best art you've seen recently? Like, trying to vet whether we're actually citizens of Kintargo. She seemed quite. She found that to be important. Is she trying to see whether we actually live here?
Okay. If none of you if any of you give vague answers, she just accepts them as
Okay.
is. She
I'm gonna be
doesn't.
incredibly specific on the art questions. This is my jam.
Like she mentions art. She says like, yes, if there's any, you know, did any of you get a chance to go see the opera before the Lord Mayor took up residence at the Opera House? Kind of, did you see any good shows and the like? And Sebastian, I'm sure at some point will start going on a tirade about various shows and buskers and things that he has seen going on.
I wish to fulfill a number of follower of Shellin stereotypes, but this is my stuff. Like this is why it's worth fighting for, or because
Exactly.
there is still art and beauty and light and life in the world. So yes, you know, he'll be happy to talk about things, and it's a fairly inoffensive topic. I mean, unless we're getting on to the exact number of Queen Abigail pictures I've seen in the last 48 hours, then I think we're pretty safe. So yeah, I'll talk about things. I'll avoid dropping any specific buskers in it. They might be a bit vulnerable, but you know, like, yeah, I saw these paintings at the art gallery. They were lovely. I really enjoyed the opera before that guy moved in.
Yeah, no, she happily does that small talk with you. And yeah, continues with the small talk. If there is anything you want to small talk with her about at this point, you can. If there's anything you want to talk to her about, discuss with her, ask her, she seems open to the conversation at least.
What's her favourite genre of play? What's her favourite kind of story? Is she into crime? Is she a musical lover? Like, what's she like? Let's learn about this lady.
She'll probably tell you that well, actually what she'll tell you is she hasn't experienced a wide range of music. As it were, she has been serving as a naval officer for 10 years, specifically under the captain for half of that time, is now his first officer, but because of that, most of the music that she comes across is sea shanties, basically, is working songs, or the songs that the people sing on the ship in order to keep it moving. In order to keep everybody in the rhythm and the time. So that's the only real exposure to music she has.
So I guess I will ask a slightly leading question, which is I'll go. So is the captain into the arts to try and kind of deduce something if you need me to make some sort of, I don't know, bluff, sense motive, persuasion?
You won't need to. Oh, he absolutely is. He's got quite refined taste. He's actually from a noble Ostenso family.
Is Blue Blood with us?
Yes.
I'm going to glance at Blue Blood with a slight look of panic, hoping you're going to pick this up, because
I'm more of a follower of dance personally. I find that with spoken art form theatre, it can become too easy for the characters to just become a mouthpiece of the writer, in which case they should just write an essay. I prefer dance because it is more pure expression of the self.
I will beam at Blue Blood with great pride and admiration, as if he's just like a student producing a grade A paper.
That's an interesting thought, she says. About a mouthpiece. Fascinating. She'll carry on chattering away at you. Did anybody want to roll knowledge, nobility, or geography on the name drop that she did?
Nobility I can do.
Cool.
Not very well.
So you don't know the nobility particularly well, but Ostenso rings a name for you, not so much for the families there, but it's a major port in the south of Cheliax. So it makes sense that they would then become naval officers if that's where he's from. But if he's a noble there as Ostenso, yeah, the idea that the nobles there, one of the things that they can do is captain a warship. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Doesn't necessarily tell you much about his taste, though. Only that he's from a major port. Okay, and you guys continue on. You go through the gate into the old harbour to the southernmost pier, where you see a sleek, three-masted warship, like dwarfing all of the fish. Like even the biggest fishing vessel is tiny compared to this thing. It's huge. There is busy activity all around the ship on the pier and also on the main deck, which Elia doesn't bat an eye at and leads you through. None of it slows down or stops, but you do see the crew notice you and start to kind of like watch you out the corner of their eyes. As you have a look around, you don't need to roll anything to see that there's been a lot of damage to this ship, a lot of broken rope and wood, splinters here and there, and they are currently, from the looks of it, doing extensive repairs to the ship. But Elia doesn't slow down for any of it. She leads you up the gangplank and straight to the captain's cabin. And as she gets there, she will turn to all of you and go, just a word of warning. At the best of times, my captain can struggle with restraint, shall we say, but he has a shorter fuse at the moment than is typical even for him. I would recommend, if he is speaking, allow him to finish his sentence. Interruptions will not go down well.
I have navigated that particular battlefield before, Lieutenant.
Whist is going to look at Asmoth and kind of pull this sort of face up.
And she opens the door and lets you into the cabin. It is richly furnished. There are stained glass windows hung with seascape paintings and nautical antiques. Is a large and spacious space. I said that badly. It takes up the entirety of the aft quarter of the ship's deck, and there is a smell of pleasant spices and rare incense in here. There is a single person in. There's a single person in a corner playing a violin, a halfling. There is a pair of golden cages on one side with two colourfully plumed tropical birds. And on the desk, on a large desk, there is a small monkey in a miniature sailor suit, shelling peanuts. Next to the desk stands a man in a pristine captain's uniform, light brown hair, neatly trimmed goatee. He sips tea from a delicate porcelain cup decorated with graceful floral design. And he turns around and looks at all of you, kind of coolly, and also like he is scrutinizing you, like not quite immediate judgments, but he is looking all of you keenly.
I give an extremely formal bow.
He raises an eyebrow and continues to sip his tea. As all of you file in, the lieutenant closes the door behind you and then stands at the door at attention. She doesn't say a word. She just simply watches, now at attention, now standing as an officer on duty.
I would like to take out a silver piece, roll it across my knuckles, and flip it to the halfling playing the violin, because you should pay your bards.
The violin stutters for a moment. The halfling looks at the silver piece, looks back up at the captain, and then continues to play as if nothing happened.
How long are we awkwardly standing there?
He sips his tea.
Like, after like 10 seconds of no one saying anything, List will say, "You're right."
Elia
just
hisses.
like hides a flinch. Like, oh no.
Oh! So you flinch. You hear Elia hiss behind you as the captain's like. The captain just like puts the teacup down, holds out a hand. Patience isn't a thing that comes naturally to you, is it? He says as he puts down the teacup.
Whis starts and then he sighs and then he's like, and we'll hold off. Like,
with all due respect, we were told they're your subordinate to attend for a matter of urgency.
These are the Silver Ravens. I expected something bigger.
that's no mist.
I'm not speaking of physical size. I'm speaking of more of an air about you. But I suppose if this is who has washed up on my shore, he picks up the monkey and starts petting them. I hear you help those who have gotten themselves into bother with the Lord Mayor.
Are you speaking as a concerned member of the population of this city, or are you speaking as an officer of a warship when you ask that question? Because I have two different answers.
I'm speaking rhetorically.
Well, rhetorically, I would hope that anyone would help anybody who is in need, regardless of the promise of reward or the threat of retribution.
A very noble stance to take. Not many people would save outlawed armigers from under the ruling power's thumb. Not many people would throw their lot in with recently outlawed Hell Knights. Or work with the tiefling slums in order to try and rebuild them? Or befriend orphans?
Would you do any of that?
Why would I?
I don't know.
Not all
I
of
just
us,
think
it
you-
seems, have respect for the culture and city in which we live, Captain. It would seem.
Well, I don't live here. I'm just meant to be passing through. But you are correct in that I have called on you. I have need of your skills and your resources.
That's
Albrecht
a
is
very
going for theirs,
interesting.
like going for like weaponized silence. I'm like, no, you will
Right.
speak next.
You kind of like. I think because Albrecht is doing that, like you see like the slightest twitch or curl of his mouth as he finally clocks you. As the Lord Mayor's proclamations have impacted various aspects of my work in the city, interests that I have, and those same proclamations stop me from being able to do anything about it myself.
You're not in
yeah,
the
it's-
publishing game, are you?
Oh, roll a sense motive. Who wants to?
I mean, yeah, why not?
I'll do it.
Given I have
Okay.
no ranks in it, that's a pretty good roll.
That is a good roll for Asmoth. Let me find his character sheet. Where is he? Captain, where you at? Here he is. Oh, you're gonna love this. He has no bluff. Okay. We are doing a flat charisma roll.
Got a bit 24, mate. It's fine.
Just roll high. So Sebastian alone sees the flash of rage on his face. It is a rage that says you've just hit onto something more than you possibly initially intended. The rest of you, he is completely schooled, perfectly calm.
Have
It is a
sympathy.
It is
for
a
your plight.
personal matter that I need dealing with, and I need people who are skilled and proven themselves and who I can have plausible deniability for if anything were to go wrong.
I would like to help you, but I'm going to need more details.
I have a friend who lives in the Greens. All I need you to do is deliver a message. Anybody who wants to can make a nobility check for me.
That's more like it.
Oh,
Okay,
man, I'm on
cool.
fire.
Albrecht
bad.
and Sebastian both know that so Olorian is the family name. They originally made their name in Kintargo through the salt and silver trades. And you both also know that Olorians have long supported Kintargo. So they've previously been Kintargo loyalists. But with Barzillai Thrune's arrival, the family patriarch Auxis has grown increasingly supportive of Thrune, which has been abandoning his family's more traditional Kintargan values. As you say this, or as you realize this, he says, the friend that you need to deliver the message to is Markel. His father, the grasping little prig Kareem Father with the new leadership, has got him into a bit of a spot of bother. Hence, the skills needed to get the message to him. I need you to deliver this letter to Markel directly. To his hands alone, probably, without his father knowing about what you're doing. And then when it's delivered, I need you to return to me and deliver his reply verbatim. Do you think you can manage that?
Yeah, but I hate to be militant about it, but I'm sure you're used to this. In the most polite way possible, like, what's in it for us? I mean, like, we do a lot of helping people out who are very down on their luck, right? And I mean, you're a captain of a warship. Feels like you've got a lot of. I mean, admittedly, your warship doesn't look in best shape right now, but I imagine you've got a lot of support. So, how's us helping you gonna help us help other people?
Having a friend in the Cheelish Navy when you are doing the kind of activities you are doing cannot be a bad thing, surely.
I'm gonna look at Bluebird again in panic. I mean, is that useful?
Access to our resources is something that comes at a cost, Captain.
Are you requiring me to name the price now?
It's not a gold figure, Captain. We aren't mercenaries.
Blueblood, I'm convinced that this is a man of both resources and a passion similar to my own for the arts. I think that if he says that he will see us right for this service, he will see us right. I don't.
Him, I like.
I came into this saying that I help people regardless of the reward. I would be a hypocrite now if I started demanding either a gold piece or a manpower value. But the others are right. We are putting our necks on the line for you, and there is an implied quid pro quo. But
I will owe you.
I see the pain behind your eyes. I will make sure this thing is done.
You do realise what it means to owe the favour for a Chelish captain to owe someone a favour. Do you understand what that kind of thing, what that kind of weight can have?
I literally don't.
I've
What
seen
about your friends?
I've seen how seriously Blueblood takes his oaths.
Once the reply is delivered, we will expect a favor from you. We will call on that favor when the time is appropriate.
Understood. In that
Don't need it in
case,
writing, but I do need your word, Captain.
you will have a favor from me if you succeed at this and when you deliver the message back to me. Now, he goes into his coat pocket, he pulls out a fine parchment envelope. It's got a plain black wax seal on it. And next to it, there's a scrap of paper containing a few notes on it. He holds it out for one of you to take.
I'll take it.
Okay. Let's see. All right. He delivers a message. He hands it over to you. Sebastian takes it. All right. Well, better get on with it then.
We'll just double check the name on it, and just in case it's or anything else on the wax, make sure it's not like saying to Mr. Please arrest me at Chelish Police Headquarters.
So the envelope itself doesn't have a name written on it at all. It's a blank envelope. You can feel that there's paper inside. It's a blank envelope. The seal is black and plain. The second piece of paper that you've got are notes about the Alorian estate. So to basically give you guys some hints or what to expect of the estate. That's
Just to be absolutely sure, could you let me know what the person I'm delivering this to looks like in case somebody tries to fob me off with a different person?
Markel.
Mm-hmm.
People who want to. Anybody wants to try to get a sense of him while he's speaking here? Roll me a sense motive. Anybody who wants to try to know about Markel independently of what he's saying, roll me a knowledge and ability.
Ah, dang it.
So
you were doing so well.
I'm not going to do either of those because I want to really concentrate on memorizing the description so I don't get confused by a butler in a fancy hat.
Amazing. So Asmoth, you're going to know one thing about Markel. And it's gonna become very obvious when you hear about what this is. He is a young noble. He is a scion of a house. The reason why the name rings in your bell, because you think about it, and you go, "Isn't he the one with the withered arm?" If you're remembering correctly, his right arm is withered, and he just can't. He can barely use it. To the rest of you, the captain describes a youngish man, dresses as his station, dresses as per his house, long black hair. One of his arms is weakened. Keen eyes. That should be enough for you to get on with. No one got high enough on the sense motive.
Yeah. So Wester's gonna key in on the description of keen eyes. That's an oddly romantic way to phrase someone's eyes. I feel like that. Like you wouldn't bring up their eyes as keen. That's like West is
cook's
shipping them.
fighting for
He's
his
never
life.
met them.
I would like
And
to.
he
like to
assumes
make
they're
a.
in love. Like,
I would
you
like to make a
never
sensible
the wrong
on
time.
Wit and kick her in the shit. Okay, sorry,
I
kick her in
drank at the
shin.
wrong time.
Weston's looking at him like,
Okay, we're good. Okay, he passes that on to you and he says, "Is there anything else you need, or can you start getting onto the task?"
West will raise a hand and say, what's the name for your monkey? Or your friend? I shouldn't say it. I mean, he might be a familiar, or she might be a familiar, they, but what is their name? Because
Do they
love
name the
it.
monkey? Hang on. I don't think they named the monkey.
How would they not name the monkey? Surely every player wants to know what the monkey's name is.
I don't think the monkey's. I'll put it this way: it's not in any of the. Hang on.
This is the same design team that tried to give you loot that was a 25 GP gold tooth.
Yeah, but the monkey is nameless.
I'm
Can
not
it
Snowden.
Can it be Scringly Bingus?
No, it's not
Is he
Screaming
just? Is he so workmanlike? He just calls him monkey.
No, he won't just call the monkey.
It's called the Admiral.
He's also called sausages. Just
No, his
Ironically, it's
name.
sausages. Admiral Sausage.
His name is going to be
Commodore Peanut.
it might be Peanut because he is shelling peanuts.
Commodore Peanut.
His name is Commodore Peanut.
I like it.
I think this
I
is
will-
the real questions that Hazel should have answered while writing their adventure path. What's the damn monkey called?
So when you say what's the monkey called, he goes, "Oh, the Commodore."
West instantly will behave with the formality blue blood has been given to the captain, to Commodore Peanut, who will take his hat and raise it. And Commodore, sorry, I didn't realise I was in presence of authority, sir.
The monkey is still shelling peanuts while in his arms. Looks at you, kind of tilts his head a little bit, and then the peanut goes in his mouth, and then he crawls up onto the captain's shoulder.
We will discuss our
attempt to
plans when-
leave.
I think the Commodore has dismissed us, yes.
There is
leave,
a
Captain.
there is a woman with a gun in front of the door, so whether or not I successfully leave is up to her.
Oh no! The second the monkey does that, and you will say that, you turn around, she's already opening the door for you.
Sweet.
We'll discuss the plan once we're off the vessel.
Well, just because Evie isn't here, I'll give the poor lady a wink as I walk out.
She ignores you.
For
I've
now.
done it.
That she gives a nod.
I think the second that we're off the vessel, it's like West.
What? I was on my best behaviour.
Do you know anything at all about the rules of etiquette?
No, there are rules. I was really polite to the monkey. He's a Commodore.
Let's get off the ship before we go any further.
Yeah, this is basically like as soon as I'm on dry land, like, what are you doing?
No,
I just like the idea that you get out of the ship, you get away from the crew, you get off the pier onto not on wood but on actual stone, and then you'll just stop bickering with Whist as you walk back up to the gate.
I was extremely polite. We could have been standing there all bloody day. He was not saying anything. I mean, like, I can judge someone up, like, look them up and down in about 2 seconds. Why is he taking so bloody long? You know,
It's an
TikTok.
expression of power, Whist. You're meant to force him to lead the conversation.
But, okay, that's intense and a bit weird. Why not instead we just talk like normal people and get over ourselves? Unless we're Commodores, in which case, obviously, you know, there's got to be power boundary somewhere.
This.
So,
Were you not involved in trying to help pen the opera in some regard? Do you not understand dramatics and theatrics?
I'm doing the lighting. I mean, and costuming. That's.
The man was holding for time. He was making a point, as Alberic says. It was a display of his power, his presence, his character.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm not super into the opera. I know, controversial, but I don't know. I think a lot of people who work in opera tend to be dicks. There we go. Just going to say it.
Conversation within the upper classes is as much cut and thrust, parry and riposte as any sword fight, and it is vitally important that you do not go into such situations unarmed.
Sure. I don't know how to sword fight, though, so...
So let me do the talking!
So, the reason I got very interested in helping him is I've got a firm belief in my heart that he's into illegal literature. That, you know, I said he made that comment about proclamations, and I made the jibe about publishing.
Mm.
He was really mad about that, and so maybe he's a collector into, like, he does seem to be like the sort of person who'd be very into his fineries and wouldn't like people being involved, but it did seem kind of personal as well. So
I do suspect there is a lot more than the blockade keeping him here.
I actually noticed something. Did you notice the way he described the guy's eyes? Maybe they're penning illegal literature to each other. I'm just saying.
I mean, not only would that make it an even more valid quest, because there is no nobler thing than to support true love, but also I'm super down with supporting crazy secret messages between pen pals.
To be honest, up to that point, I was like, I think this guy's being a bit of an imperious dick. But then when I realised true love was involved, I thought maybe this was all a defence mechanism. He's actually a softie underneath. I mean, he made friends with the Commodore. Commodore's got excellent taste in people.
I'm
glad we're
backfire.
I'm glad we're making our decisions based on the opinions of monkeys we've known for less than 5 minutes. But
when we get to Gideon, we should phrase this as we have a means to blackmail a navy of the a Chelish naval officer.
I don't think we can tell Gideon about this. I think we just have to say we broke out. They put us in the brig and we broke out. Anything else, and we will just live with his derision for the next, I don't know how many years. I don't know how long I live. But I do think we should deliver this note.
Yes, I have an idea for a cover of sorts.
Oh, he gave us some tips and tricks. What do they say?
The patriarch of the house is aligning itself to the Lord Mayor, and my identity as a scion of a Throne loyalist house will probably still hold some weight. I can arrange to have an audience with the patriarch, which will distract his attention long enough for you to reach the sun.
I've noticed that a lot of the noble houses of Cheliax take great delight in having halfling servants and retainers, and they might be able to slip notice. And it just so happens that I can be a halfling for about, give or take, 4 minutes a day. Maybe I could just slip out when I went in with my lord and drop a letter off.
I mean, if I were to cut my eyebrows down a bit, I look a bit halflingy and all.
I mean, you're so clearly a gnomish wizard. I don't think you could be mistaken for anything else.
No, that's true.
But yes, perhaps it's just because we know each other so well. We should go back and confess all to Gideon and hope that he doesn't.
We should very much not confess all.
I very much hope he doesn't expire from laughter.
Okay, you guys return to the Tooth and Nail. It's a quick enough walk. It's still very much daytime at the moment, so you have no issue with that. And you can return. Gideon, was there anything in particular you wanted to be doing, or were you just catching up with your friend and chatting and stuff?
I'll help her like tidying up around the bar and doing bits and pieces. I'm not a watcher.
Okay. Give me a second. Emily shows you where, like, this is at a point when, what's that face for?
Go on.
Emily, no. So Trevor is doing some other business or other. So at the moment, while it's quiet, it's just the two of you. Emily's showing you where like the cleaning cupboard is. She's just there like, if you're going to insist on working, I don't know why you are. You could just chill out for the day. But if you're going to insist on it, this is where the mops and brooms and stuff are. And she grabs herself a fresh few rags so that she can be cleaning glasses and the like.
You are aware that Caden Kalian has few temples, and good bars and establishments are the closest most places will come to shrines.
Know that.
Call it a holy duty that happens to be doing with a good friend.
I'll take that. I just thought that, you're doing so many noble duties at the moment. I thought you might want a bit of a break for the afternoon.
I want to be productive just in case the others somehow are also productive with this fool's errand. And if they're not, it will feel very good.
Understood. All right, then in that case, she grabs like a crate of dirty glasses, puts them in front of you. Start cleaning then.
Yeah.
And you guys can chat and talk about all sorts of stuff while you do this. She'll just be talking about what rumors and chatter she's been hearing in the bar, the regulars that she's starting to get accustomed to and things. Start telling you all of the silly stories and things that they've got going on in their lives.
I will listen and I will respond with the energy of an old friend who is trying to help an old friend get over some shit, TM.
Cute. All right. You are doing that. And the others return.
Mid crash course on speaking with nobility.
So what? You're meant to bow every time they come into the room? That sounds like a waste of time.
The depth of the bow indicates your relative social standing. It's very important.
Is it? Like, what are they gonna do? What does it matter? Like, why can't I just like stand like a normal person? There's like a lot of precursors to talking to these people. Why can't they just like chill out and talk like a normal, you know?
Because they aren't normal people.
I mean, he seemed normal, just a bit of a dick.
I'll look at Emily and say, get to serving, barkeep.
Yeah, like actually, an awful lot like Gideon was just then, actually, and Gideon's pretty normal. He's just sometimes a bit of a dick.
What did you guys do? Weren't you meeting some sort of fancy captain? How did you get it so wrong?
I
I
didn't.
just gesture a whist.
They're all making a big deal out of nothing. We've got the quest. He wants to have us work with him. It didn't go badly at all. It's just that apparently I was meant to like do some sort of weird play acting that they all knew the rules. It was like I was in a game and they all knew the rules and I didn't. That's what happened.
And yet you
Whist.
insisted on turning up to the board.
You were I'd like to think you consider me a friend, and I consider you a friend. So why, by the abyss and the 9 hells and the 7 heavens, did you compare me to a Chelish naval officer? How dare you?
Well, because you just said to Emily to start serving barkeep in a sort of like, in a way that was it might have been a joke, but came across, if I hadn't heard the context, as being a bit of a dick. And it was a similar vibe to the guy who wasn't joking. I will say there was no mirth. There was no wry smile behind his dickishness.
Am I a dick on the regular? Now there's
Yes,
one
always.
Well, there we go.
Emily says.
Emily.
I have a feeling it's with a different energy though. So
Gideon, I believe I may have some sort of ointment to help you with that burn.
he pats you on the head.
There's dishwater back here. I'll throw it into someone's face.
Ho ho ho! If you do that, you will be mopping up.
Oh no, doing your job.
Hey, I'll take a break.
Have to work.
So
to have a
anyway,
break.
we have a job to do. I'll look around, make sure it's just us. If not,
Yeah,
we
it's
can go
quiet at the
somewhere
moment.
Can I? Right. So what was the problem, Whist? Like why was Blue Blood popping off? I'm sorry to interrupt you,
Nothing.
Sebastian. Though.
I did perfectly well.
Yeah.
Right, Sebastian, have we got the quest?
We've got the quest.
Blue Blood, are we allowed back on the ship when we've completed the quest?
Whist, you did about as well as I would expect.
Asmoth, did we learn the name of the adorable monkey?
That was a monkey?
I wasn't paying
Yeah.
attention exactly.
Mission success.
We have the name of the
We
person
didn't
we
just
need to
learn
talk
his
to.
name. We learned his naval rank.
Oh yeah, no, there was someone who should have been giving orders. It was the monkey.
I have had my doubts that monkey was a commissioned officer.
What?
I'm already
A
convinced.
Commodore wouldn't lie to me. He's a Commodore.
The monkey is a Commodore.
Well, it's good to know
Incredible.
Chelish rank structure remains as useful as it ever was.
Well, I mean, at least this monkey is cute.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of the monkeys in the challenge and any of the challenge militaries are normally as cute. I'm assuming the monkey's cute.
Really cute.
Okay,
It was called
Had a
Commodore
uniform and
Peanut.
everything.
perfect.
Yeah, so
And he was eating peanuts.
Did the monkey have a hat?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a tad confused then why this was not a good thing, Blue Blood. I look like I might have an idea as to why it was not a good thing, but I refuse to let on.
I feel there was more that I would have leveraged out of the captain were I attending under noble auspices.
That's fine. Once we share the love letters with his boyfriend, he'll be patting your hand.
The what with the who? Tell me everything.
With!
So
That is Emily's legitimate response.
is
And she's looking at you expectantly now.
so we were disturbed from an afternoon of useful endeavour by a Chelish naval captain who wishes to send saucy letters to his amour.
Probably.
I doubt it's that simple.
I don't think it's that simple. But
Then
yes, short version, yes. But this this amour, from what I can tell, is the sort of the scion of of a noble house who has decided to recently strongly ally with Thrune, and this scion is sort of rebelling against that, which I wish to encourage. And also, although it's a little bit crude, the man will owe us, and then we will have a debt to call in with the Chelish Navy. Which, given that I think we're sort of under some sort of unofficial blockade, at the very least, wrangling the routes of boats in and out could help us either monetarily or with resources. And that's if he's not willing to actually do something more useful.
Oh, that's quite good. That's quite good.
And he's
an unspecified favour
yes,
from a man of probably high noble rank but very low moral character.
Why would you say that he's of low moral character?
Because
He's a Chelish naval officer.
Yes, and from the sounds of it, he was an arse to Whist. He was an arse to the rest of you, except Blue Blood is deep enough in ability to ignore it as etiquette, I assume.
I know how the game is played.
My grandmother taught me Chelish noble etiquette, and I decided to toss it out of the window.
I understand all your feelings on this. I just got a feeling from him that he was deeply unhappy about the proclamations that Barzillai Thrune had been making, and that would get us, that enmity, that anger would get us further than trying to stick a monetary value on things. I might be wrong, but this is... I'm going to say it. I think this is about love and art, and I think that's my wheelhouse more than it is yours. I think I'm the expert. I think we should do it this way.
Yeah.
Emily
Sebastian.
Emily leans forward and goes, "You mentioned letters. You mentioned love letters. Do you have them?"
Our duty is to deliver a letter and then receive his response and return it verbatim.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
I suspect both this letter and the reply are going to be in code.
He described
or they're too
gentleman's
filthy to read
eyes as striking.
Oh, they are absolutely in love. Did he say
Yeah,
gentleman?
right.
I mean, I hesitate to correct you, but he said keen.
Keen, striking, basically the same.
The eyes. He described the eyes in any capacity. Quite clearly, that means something.
And he described the eyes in a sort of like feelingsy metaphorical way rather than just like blue eyes, right? He was like, oh, they're keen. They pick up on all my flaws and I love them for it.
They're madly in love.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Question. You agreed to facilitate this letter. That was the deal. Nothing else. What is the plan? I assume you have discussed this on the way back.
No, Blue Blood's just been talking to me that I played the game wrong. That's been the whole discussion since we
Deliver
left
the
home.
letter. Deliver the letter to the right person, and then bring a response back to the captain verbatim. Is the deal that we have struck? I think there's going to be some secret codes, or maybe some filth, maybe both. You familiar with Polari?
Filth in secret codes.
So I actually did buy a book recently on Polari and its history, but that's not that's not Gideon.
Albrecht will say, I did have something of a plan in that if this house is looking to align itself more firmly with the Lord Mayor, it is very likely that they will be actively seeking connections with the houses that are already loyal, such as mine. I can arrange for an audience.
Interesting.
Hang on. So, how big is this scroll?
It's
For?
it's an envelope. It's a folded envelope. It's got a wax seal on it. There's an additional note that has some description of the estate. In fact, part of it is like a very crude map of
Does it feel?
So
Or is it quite? Is it a
No.
long ass letter? We talking
no, absolutely not.
We're not talking
it's-
DWP paperwork. We're
No.
talking like
It's got maybe a sheet of paper in it.
right.
I'm showing the envelope to these people so they can see the size. I'm not going to let one of them hold of it because I've got a feeling that at least two people want to rip it open and read what's inside.
I don't need to. I've already made up what's written inside.
Exactly, that's fine. You can do that. That's allowed. That's art, that is.
Who are
I've
these
already
two
written
people?
like 12 pages of fanfic over what's written inside.
Me too.
Who are these people? Like, I know Emily's probably one. I'm not sure about the other.
Emily is absolutely wants to know what's in that letter.
Right.
I do have a question, Blue Blood.
Mhm.
I do wonder, like, you do a lot as your noble self, and I wonder, like, at what point is your uncle going to become sus? You know, does he just not care? Like, I mean, I'm saying this genuinely because I don't want you to get like messed up because you've done one too many things as Albrecht, you know?
Let me try and condense a long and sad tale. My mother is a member of the Shining Crusade. She's a paladin of Iomedae, just like I am. When she left, people in the night, I assume sent by my uncle, murdered my father as a message. We are now in a sort of stalemate where neither of us can make a direct move against the other without, at the very least, a severe loss of standing in his case or execution in mine. This is why I am working as much as I can in the shadows. If my uncle were to publicly denounce me, word would very quickly reach out that his sister is a member of a rebel crusade that has already taken ground against Cheliax, and his standing within Chelish nobility will crumble. So there is at least some measure of leeway that I am afforded.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, I feel like being the Chelish arms dealer gives you a lot of buys, particularly given that, you know, the Shining Crusade is not entirely made up of, people external to Cheliax, and there's a lot of the exterior regions that aren't exactly happy. I mean, look at, I'm pretty sure Andorran used to be part of their empire, and then we broke free. Pretty much every noble family's got a black sheep or 5, and all you could literally make up with it on one arm's deal. I think I would be a lot more worried about him deciding that better to nip it in the bud. That is concern for your safety, as well as our own operational security.
While that may be true, there is only so much I can do to hide my own identity. Unfortunately, I am noble. In
Despite-
demeanor, in appearance, in posture, in all things.
At this moment, you suddenly notice you've got like the slightly taloned hand of Asmoth kind of on Alberic's shoulder, just like noble families are not good people sometimes.
You know how you're not noble, Blue Blood, and I mean this as entirely as a compliment. It is in the company that you keep and the aspirations in which you uphold. They are not noble, they are something much higher, much better. I would say they were silver. Anyway, I've got a letter to
I
deliver.
appreciate the sentiment, Sebastian.
Look, I'm not, your idea is a good one, and it might be useful later on. However, I do think we have a solution that makes this a lot easier for you and for all of us. And that way we can cash out with less risk to us and more sticking it to this arsehole of a captain. I will reach into a bag and I will pull out one of the silver ravens.
I'm so glad you remembered about those.
Just use one of these. We don't do enough crimes or plots or schemes that involve secret messages. We were left these by our forebears. Maybe they even saw a day to use it for these kind of sordid communiques. Who knows?
I understand what you're saying, but I don't believe it gives us the message back that we have promised. And I look over at Gideon's friend. I'm quite painfully invested in making this work somehow.
The creature becomes a bird, and the spell lasts for multiple days. There is a very slim chance that if he's being isolated to quarters, that he will not be able to respond in some fashion. Particularly if somebody with good penmanship and a very silver tongue were to add a little addendum saying, please include response, or RSVP to have us kick your doors down.
I mean, I appreciate everything you've said, but I'm sneaky. I'm good at climbing. I can be a halfling. I can do
He wants a
this,
love story to happen.
and I want the love story to happen.
And I mean, if Blue Blood's happy to do this meeting,
If this all goes,
I do think that sounds right. Okay, right. In the stories that they tell later, when we've defeated Brazilai Throne, which one of these sounds better in the novelization? They sent a silver raven and the guy responded in kind, or they set up a fake meeting, at which point one of them, dressed as a halfling servant, snuck through the house and delivered the message of revealing a true love's tryst, which then meant that the captain from a far off shore and his lover deep within Kintargo could finally meet and marry. They'll get married.
Absolutely. In the novelization, they definitely do.
Yeah.
I'll write it.
This
I might, I might need to work on my penmanship a little bit, but I'll give it a good go.
Look, I appreciate that this is probably more your area of expertise, Share the Night. However, I personally am a bigger fan of this story. We send the message in as safe and as easy a manner as possible via a magical silver raven, get a response back, get the favor, and then the captain is so torn by whatever emotional state that they're both in that he then asks us to go and kick the actual shit through everybody else to save it for him because he's so fucking useless. We then take him back, they reunite, they can do their thing, and we get a second favor. That's 2 favors for 1, and literally it is. You can have the stealth, you can have the drama, but it comes at the actual point where we would need it.
You wouldn't double charge a man for a drink. I
wouldn't-
wouldn't double charge a man for true love.
I wouldn't double charge a man for a drink. That's true. I would double charge Chelish Naval Captain for literally anything.
Not for true love, Gideon. Not for true love.
You're really
In
not.
Kintargo, as a silver raven.
You're really
True
knocking
love.
you're knocking on the wrong door, Whist.
Wister's going to hold Sebastian's arm as if in shock.
Okay.
Never say never, Gideon. You never know who you'll meet.
That's true. You know, like, I hope one day you have a sweeping love story where maybe you burst down a cell door and rescue someone in a show of daring
Like
do.
Ickwist's ankle.
Emily's blushing.
Right, so we're going with Sebastian and Blue Blood's plan then, I'll say, while Gideon doesn't know what to say.
Please, I'd like to try. If I mess this up, you can all laugh at me, and then we can send a silver raven. But please let me try.
No, you have to. Look at his face. Oh, he wants to do the love story so bad.
And he is a silver raven. You are sending a silver raven, if not a better one.
I say that we should do the safer thing out of my deep-held respect and affection for you as a comrade and a fellow warrior against the vile indecencies of the House of Thrune in the city of Kintargo.
Okay. And I understand all that, but I'm quite good at this stuff.
How good?
I'm the only one here who can change their face.
That's pretty good.
Right, lay out your plan.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna take out the thing that tells me the layout of the house and see where I would need to get to have access to the room. Is it presumably it's not right on the front floor, ground floor thing, so I can just walk up and tap on the window. But there must be a way to get to it through the house.
So, he's given you it's the map. So what he's given you is basically is a map. It looks a little crude, but then there are also like very brief notes here and over there. So what you can see is this: it's not a map of the whole estate, just like one part of it. So it shows a western gate, which you guys know wouldn't be the primary gate. It would be like the secondary entrance. You can see a series of bedrooms in the building quite close to the gate. You can see basically like one of them has been circled, which is the target, assumedly. There is a note that says that the gate is locked. That the fence is wrought iron. There are hedges all the way around it. There is what looks like a very large doghouse at one point, but next to it is written Cerberus. Next to by the house, like next to the house, there's a note that says Ivy on wall, right in front of where the bedroom would be that you're after.
Does anybody know what a Cerberus is?
Is that
I
I
mean,
be knowledge planes?
Obviously, Andrew has heard of a creature called Cerberus, but I'm pretty sure that I don't know anything about these.
It would be knowledge planes.
I'm untrained in this.
It's a trained only, I'm afraid. Does anybody have ranks in planes?
Yes.
Nope.
Okay.
I do, just not many.
Okay, that's fine. Cerberus are, let's see, the mythical watchdogs of hell. Cerberus bear the bodies of terrible, powerful hounds combined with the essences of fiends. They are three-headed canine abominations possessing far greater cunning than their flensed bestial appearances would suggest. With an intellect they pour into malice and enjoyment of their victims' tormented ends. Perfect for Chiliacs. So you know that I'm going to give you one, I think, thing. Do you want to know an offensive thing, a defensive thing, or an other thing?
Other?
Other? Okay, so they have something called Soul Scent, which functions as the scent ability, but it also grants a bonus on survival checks made to track undead.
Well, that takes the plan of sending a bunch of skeletons to do the job.
Ah, damn, plan A gone.
Yeah. I really thought, I mean, it probably wouldn't have worked anyway with all the bones.
Yeah. Well,
They-
I think we're still going to send some skeletons. We're just going to put like a coating of flesh over them first.
Right, so you're going blue blood's the distraction. Is this something that you want as few bodies as possible for?
Well, this estate doesn't sound like it sounds like it's a noble house. Doesn't sound like it's huge. I think there's a small chance that this all goes wrong, despite everything I've said. At which point, I might be running away from some sort of hell-spawned dog. And I would appreciate some backup in the unlikely event that that occurs. But I think we're probably going to try and like go through the house and run a bluff rather than go through the grounds, sneaking past hell-empowered guard dog.
If they have already reached the point of devil summoning, then they've delved deep indeed.
Might be. It depends if they have a conjurer or a priest that can perform that rite. The beast might be a gift or some kind of warden from the
I mean,
church.
this is Cheliax. There are many dark creatures which serve noble houses due to tradition, gifts. It doesn't necessarily mean that the master of the house or one of his minions is a grand conjurer. But if that is the case, that's a what would you say? That's something we need to take off the table if we're going to make the Silver Ravens work.
But how can I say this? The church and the nobility are often allies, That does not mean that there has not been an exchange or there's no quid pro quo. In Chiliax, arguably, the quid pro quo is the art. It's about
I-
how you get one up over on your friends and allies, as well as your enemies.
I do suspect that this hellhound is a gilded leash, as it were. Certainly a gift as a reward for loyalty, but also a guarantee to ensure it.
Or from the church or the mayor.
There is very little distinction between those two things.
He is, yeah. You're not
Well,
wrong.
it is from what little I know, a dog-shaped fiend, and if there's anyone who put a devil into a dog, it's Thrune. His ridiculous
Yeah, that's
obsession
true.
with cruelty to canines.
Does the paper that they were given give any indication of like guard patterns? Or how
Based
many
on-
guards are in there?
Genuinely, based on the information that you've got here, the impression you're getting is that the only guard on this side is the Cerberite.
Hmm.
There's no mention of guards. There's no mention of watchers or anything like that. The only thing you've been told to keep an eye out for is this infernal beast.
So, actually, sort of sneaking in and talking our way in is probably a better plan anyway, right? Like going in as a servant or whatever, or having a meeting rather than kind of being an intruder in any way, shape, or form, right? If it's expecting us and we're friend, then that's our best way in, right? There's no way to suggest that even if we sent a silver raven as in the item, it might pick that up as a hostile I don't know, like messenger anyway, and let its masters know.
I don't think it would. It's a bird. When the magic activates, it is a bird. If it was overtuned that much, if that beast was that reactive to another bird in the sky, it would not be a very good warden. It would be a very good kind of guard beast to a fortress, but
Depends
no
if it can
noble
detect
house.
magic, right?
Yeah. I don't
I-
know. I don't know
can
enough
visit the
about
state
this
as a.
beast.
I can visit the estate as a preliminary measure and see what state our scion is in, whether he is a prisoner or just under watch, and assess the
Or
extent to which this.
He's rebelling against his family, or maybe I'm reading a bit too much into it. He's doing something that's upset his family, so it's not. I think he's more like under, parental house arrest than likely to be in a basement cell.
I mean, gilded cages.
yeah, maybe they'll just think he'll grow out of it, you know?
Just a phase.
Yeah. Silly youth behaviour, you know, a lot of Asmodeans are a bit like that, you know, they just think their kids will grow out of it.
Many people think their children will grow out of it.
Well,
Asmodean
even if
or
it is
not.
just a phase, doesn't matter. It's still something you should embrace and enjoy and love. I do think Blue Blood's plan's got a good chance at success. I do think I can maybe have a go at getting him this letter and getting the response. And we have other options involving, sneaking in through a locked gate past an angry monster if that don't work.
In fact, if I approach them under the auspices of assessing their security measures, given how unrest in the city has caused many of the districts in many of the estates in the noble district to fortify themselves, lest they join the ranks of the Victor Corps. There's a good chance we can use that as a means of literally assessing the security, seeing how receptive this Cerberus is to, for example, a disguise.
Hang on, Blue Blood, wasn't this the exact same plan you did for us to get into the prison?
More or less.
Yeah,
Which
worked
worked
really well
flawlessly.
last time. Yeah.
Flawlessly.
I mean, it got you through the door, and then almost immediately a fight kicked off.
Yeah, flawless,
Well,
Emily.
I'm
Flawless.
also up for that option.
You're right, Emily. That is flawless. Particularly if it ends up with a devil dying.
All right. So, DM hat back on. What is your plan then?
Right.
Blue Blood and Entourage knock on the front door, attempt to gain access. Blue Blood's an important noble. I'm a servant nobody. I slip off. Nobody cares. I'm a servant. Maybe I'm just going to fetch him a glass of water or check that his jacket has been stored correctly. Using the plans of the house, I make my way to the room of the person who's possibly imprisoned there and attempt to deliver a letter only to discover it's a horrible trap. Then the others break in, save me, and then laugh at me for the rest of this mission.
Let's not assume that the plan will go awry.
No,
We
he
can,
won't
at the
even-
very least, let the what was their name? We can let Markel know to expect a silver raven bearing a message.
Yeah.
Preparation is the mother of victory. Can I make a suggestion that you may not like, Blue Blood?
You often do, but I appreciate your counsel.
No, and I personally hate myself for making this suggestion. Approach your uncle with this as a proposition. If you suggest to them that their loyalties are new to Thrune, and that possibly they would be beneficiaries of contracts from Tanison for weapons and training, he is more likely to have less suspicion for you. He might send some useful experts that are additional distractions to keep the noble family occupied with the details. Because if all goes awry, and by Caden I hope that is not true, if you are there with the knowledge and blessing of your uncle, you have actually got a better way out of there. You have deniability, because there's no way I suspect he will think you have the balls to go up to him, ask to do something, and then do this with his people with you.
Is there possibly a non-zero chance, though? Not saying that's a bad idea, but I think only Blue Blood can answer this. That you might go in with a load of his guys, what he likes, and then he's like been looking for the opportunity to class you as a traitor, and then his guys are like, "Get him!" and then they like arrest you and execute you and stuff because like they can pin it on you finally. Maybe that's not the case. I don't know. It's your relationship.
From what I know of my uncle, I would likely be attending with some kind of Tennyson presence. Probably not a large retinue, probably just someone to ostensibly someone to represent the house's interests, but to keep an eye on me.
A money manor conciliary of some species.
Something along those lines. Which
And if this is just a dry run to set up and gather information, which is what it sounds like it was, Sebastian, then and if all this goes well here, you gain cachet with your uncle, which buys you maybe a little less time of him trying to murder you.
Just in terms of your overall cover, Blue Blood, if we can do this without there being a fight and you actually having done a security check on a place, it will improve our chances for next time.
That and the Silver Ravens breaking in while I am visibly not present would do wonders. I will try, but understand that you are asking a lot here, Gideon.
That's why I said you wouldn't like my suggestion.
Hmm.
Your uncle
Like-
may just say he'd prefer you not to be involved with that, and I half expect that may be the case. If you don't want to do it, I would not blame you. The same way that I would not want to walk into the ship's office of that odious little man you spoke to earlier.
Members of average height.
Look, can we stop bringing up people's height? Everyone's very obsessed with people's height today. You know what? Gnomes and halflings are people too. All right, calm down.
Whist, I refer not to his physical height. I refer to the shadow he casts.
That's it. What?
His
That's the same thing.
No. His sense of dignity, his honor.
That's very similar to what he said to me as well.
You stand a titan compared to this mere human.
Okay, I mean, I'm happy with being short actually, but I get the sentiment.
Well, I'm ready when you are, Blue Blood. We can go now. We can do it without any extras, or if you think that you can pull it off, we could, contact other people. But I think that's a you decision.
I will contact my uncle and see what could be arranged.
Okay.
And it does often behoove to make an appointment noble to noble, right?
Yes, there's a game within there of whom schedules it on whose calendar and so on. Things that aren't relevant to you, but yes, broadly.
Yes.
All things within nobility are struggles for power.
Yeah, what I've learned is being a noble's really bloody exhausting. That's what I've learned. You can't just have a relationship with someone. There's got to be like some level of who's got the biggest, I don't know, hat.
Yeah. With respect, Blue Blood. I don't believe Whist approaches this from not knowing the game. I approach this from knowing the game and despising the game.
We carry the weight of the city on our shoulders.
I approve of
You
the
find
game
it-
when it's used to carry secret messages between lovers.
Yeah.
Right. So the rest of us on station, once you've arranged this as your backup.
I suspect you may need some squire's outfits with the insignia of House Denessen. That will help a lot.
Let me rummage through and see if I can rustle up a disguise.
The more that we are associated with House Denessen in this affair, the more suspicion I think will fall. Better to be heroes in black. Because if you're calling on us, it has gone very horribly wrong. If we maintain a tasteful anonymity.
But I'm going in with him to maybe make the contact, maybe deliver the letter, maybe not, depending on how the lay of the land goes. So if I can rustle up a disguise so I look like a simple retainer, that will help.
No, I meant myself, Whist.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry.
And Azimuth, and
I'd not fully understood that.
yes. We're the backup in this plan.
All right, I will head to the Noble District now. I'll let you know how it goes.
Good luck.
Okay.
Question:
So
Do you have a disguise that has like a hidden pocket? Whoever's
Me?
passing,
That
yeah,
question to me.
whoever's passing this letter to the
Yeah,
young lord
I can.
needs
I
to.
can.
You need to be able to secrete it because they may search everybody that's there as a show of force or as a show of authority. Noble mind games.
Trust me, no one's going to touch my correspondence pouch without me consenting.
Oh, actually,
I'd
on
like to
that,
look
on
at Emily with that said and just give the Jim look to camera.
I'm gonna that you might already have one of these, but on what Gideon's saying, I'm gonna take off my big scarf, which on Sebastian is going to kind of look like quite a small scarf. Like, and I'll be like, it's pocketed. You can put things in it. It helps you hide things. Oh, shit, hang on a second. And I'm going to quickly grab out my, a little flask of tea I've got hidden in there.
I'm going to say, where are the snacks? The snacks
Yeah.
you've hidden in this scarf.
Yeah. And I'll be like,
Why is
but
this
you could.
scarf crunchy?
Oh, they're the biscuits. Look, it doesn't. Hang on, I'll get those out now. Do you want a cup of tea? But
Is it
you,
night tea?
well, it isn't. It isn't time yet. It's true. I'll save it for when you've got back successfully. We'll raise a cup. But yeah, you can hide things in it, and it will confer a slight bonus upon you if you'd like to use it.
Is this
I think
some sort of pocketed scarf?
it is a pocketed scarf. If you don't already have one, I
I
love
do
the
not own a pocketed
scarf.
scarf. That's a very cool item. I will happily borrow it.
It helps you more easily hide small items. +4 and bonus of sleight of hand checks made to hide small items.
Excellent.
So if you're wanting to sneak in a silver raven or just a cool potion or something, then you can hide it in my pocketed scarf, which for you is like a pocketed neckerchief.
Great.
Okay, so just run this by me again. What is the current plan? So Albrecht is going to go talk to his uncle to try and get him to want to make a deal with Alorian.
Yeah, so
And that's getting you in the door so that Sebastian can sneak in, find Markel and deliver the letter.
Yeah, so
Cool.
the pretense of going is basically, hey, we appreciate how things are a little unsafe for you right now, as kind of welcoming you to the fold. I'd like to kind of like offer checking out your security.
And you said you're going to go talk to your uncle before this happens to basically get his backing on it, or are you just
Yeah.
going?
Yeah,
Okay.
so going to Jeff Denessen to say, I've made contact with this house, and basically like doing the thing of saying the other person's already agreed to this. So like saying, oh, they've reached out to us and said, hey, we'd like to check through our security, and then going back to them saying, hey, we would like to check through your security.
Got it. Clever. Okie dokie. Are you going to see your uncle alone?
I think so, yes.
Amazing. Okay. Bear with me. Grumble, grumble.
Probably exactly what your uncle's doing right now is grumble, grumble. To be honest,
Grumble,
That's
grumble.
how I
Exactly.
imagine him.
That's exactly what he's doing. No, it's fine. I need
I
more
imagine him as
names
an-
that aren't in the book, and I'm mad about it.
I imagine him as a kind of like the start of a Christmas Carol Scrooge-like character in my head. Whether I'm right, we'll find out. But that's like, yeah, a kind of very early Michael Caine in Muppets Christmas Carol. Like the first portion is what I've got going on.
So we're going to give him a Dickensian name, something like Pumblechook Tennyson.
Oh, he has a first name. It was Jeff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It is Jeff.
Yeah.
I assume Jeff was just too normal and was a placeholder.
It just does feel like the Tiffany problem of like it's probably like an ancient name, like etymologically speaking, but it just sounds like some guy's name.
Cool.
And
I'll
a
let you
poor
know.
girl called Rachel.
I will let you know right now. I've just had to name his twin sons that exist. And I have given them equally English sounding names because it feels on brand.
Please tell me
They-
one of them's called Alan.
No,
Steve.
Alfred.
Boo.
Alfred and Edward.
Yeah, okay.
So
we get it. You're from Wessex.
So, Albric, you return to your family manor. A very familiar house to you, even if you haven't been here in quite a while. In your noble attire, which I believe will not have the embroidery after what happened.
Not this time.
Not this time. Okay, we're behaving. You walk in, and it is the normal energy around here that you expect. There's the familiar servants, familiar butler, and the like. There is one point where you walk past, probably some sort of training hall, and you hear the raucous noises of your cousins doing some sort of training. There's a door, there's a jar that leads to the training, and you can hear their voices peeling in. But as you walk past that, you head up to your uncle's office where he does most of his work during the day. How do you want to approach this?
So I'd probably check with most likely like I'm thinking like the butler, like the head of the servants,
Mm-hmm.
and basically inquire that is the count available.
He shows you the deference that is expected to be shown scions of the house. And he would, because he is the head butler, would likely refer to you as Master Ulbrich. And he will tell you that he has been in meetings this morning, working on various matters within the city's defences and the like. He may, however, have some time this afternoon if you have business which you wish to raise with him.
Very well. I'll go and see what's causing the racket in the training grounds.
Very good, Master Albric. May I give the Master Tennyson the summary of your business?
I have come across some information that that will be of great interest to the house, and I would prefer to discuss that in person with the Count.
Very good, of course. And he will bow to you and head off as you go into the training room. Two very similar looking, sandy haired men of a similar age to you are trying to beat the ever-loving F out of each other while laughing doing so. There isn't a lot of... You've been through regimented training. You've been through regimented training with these boys. That does not seem to be what this is. This is just them being idiots with swords as you look inside.
So Albrick will spend like several minutes in complete silence just watching, and then if there's a lull in the action, we'll basically just methodically point out mistakes.
Okay. When you start...
Explain like, so basically going like, when you blocked here, you would be dead. If you made this footstep here, you would be dead.
Okay. So when you start speaking, it becomes very clear that neither of them noticed you were there. As both of them jump. And you start to make these corrections, but they very quickly talk over you. Hey, little Rick.
I hate that name.
No, come over here. And like one of them, probably Edward, like comes over and like gets you in a half hook, half headlock, drags you into the room. Where have you been? You've been hiding from us or something. You wouldn't hide from us, would you, bud?
I've been attending to business in the city.
Tending to business in the city? You sound like Dad.
One of
What
us
business
should.
you got to attend with?
One of us should show the good name of this family, and not a pair of brawlers.
There's nothing wrong with us. You do great. Dad said so.
Your form is terrible.
We weren't trying then. It was just a bit of fun. Lighten up.
As soon as you put weapons in each other's hands, you are no longer playing.
All right, fine. Show us how it's done then. And the two of them will then grab the weapons and then fall into what is actually a proper stance, like backing up the fact that like they were just messing around, and like they very quickly move into a position as if they're ready to like flank you or something. I will say at this point you have your normal clothes on. I don't know if you would normally carry a weapon through the city.
I'd carry the longsword like in a sheath on the side.
Okay, so you have your longsword. You don't have anything.
Oh, are they using steel weapons?
They're using training weapons. They're probably like steel weapons but blunt.
I will say, I will say, pass me a training sword. You do not want me to draw this one.
Feels like a fun challenge. One of them will grab a sword for you. I will say, because these guys are commoners, and based on what little I'm seeing about the good Count and his experience, they try to keep to form, but they do not have the same diligence with it for it as you do, by any means, from the sounds of it. And if you want to do some attack rolls just to see how you fare against them, you can do.
Yeah, I'll just do some regular.
Yeah,
Gotta go with halberd rolls because my longsword's normally masterwork.
that's fine. Cool.
That's pretty bad. That's better. And then that's pretty bad.
Okay. Okay. So we'll say that this is 3 rounds then, because you've rolled 3 times. So the first round, bear in mind, like there's 2 of them and they're circling you, and like they kind of glance to each other, and then they come in to swing at you at the same time. But they choreograph it so much that you really easily like sidestep one, parry away the other, and then it's just a series of blows you alternate between the 2 before you rebuff them both. The second round, you try and do the same thing, but while Edward falls for it and very quickly like falls backwards, Alfred actually holds his own against you. Like he blocks one of them and then hunkers down and is able to riposte you enough that he actually manages to knock the sword out of your hand. But then with that cockiness in stride, it comes to the third round. He forgets all of that because he now thinks he's king of the castle, and you wipe the floor with both of them again. So 2 out of 3, basically, you win. And they are quite grumpy about it, actually. After the third one, you put both of them. You knock both of them basically to their butts. One of them's got a nice welt coming up on their arm. One of them's being very tender with like their shin, and both of them are scowling at you. Like if the proper death glare type thing. Like, how dare you go all out against us? How dare you treat this seriously and not like some silly game like we were? How dare you not let us win, is the energy.
I will point to the welt and say, if I had drawn that sword, that would be your arm on the floor.
Yeah, it'll be your arm on the floor. You need to lighten up. Stop being so much like Dad.
Neither of you are even worthy of the trial of the Hell Knight. Pathetic.
Well,
I will
why
storm off.
Why would you even want to do that? It's a waste. And like, they're saying things that they probably said to you a bunch of times of why would you waste your life with that? Why would you dedicate all of that when there's better things to be doing with your life, but you just ignore it all and stride on away?
And then head back to the butler and say, I'll basically say, please could I arrange for a change of clothes and some medical attention for the training room, please.
Very good, sir. You are able to go back to. You have a room in this house. You haven't been using it very often of late, but you still have the room, so you're able to go up there, go to your room, have a change of clothes, have a quick look around. No one's really touched your stuff since you left, but at the same time, I get the sense you didn't really leave a lot of your stuff here.
Almost no, it's pretty much barren.
Yeah. No one's really been in here. Like, there's a layer of dust over all the furniture and things. Which actually no, there isn't. You arrived and you went to go train, so you see a maid walking out of your room, and there is in the air. There's very much the sense that like freshly turned, like the windows are wide open. There's freshly turned dust on the air and things. They've very clearly like quickly tidied up the young noble's room now that he's shown up again. But you're able to change and all that stuff, and then when a few hours later the butler comes and collects you and takes you on to your uncle's office, to Jeff Tissenin. Now, Jeff, where your cousins are kind of sandy-haired, raucous, quite big and stocky kind of lads, Jeff is none of those things. He's got the same kind of coloured hair, but the hairline is very much receding. The rest of him is gaunt and angled. The finery, the clothes that he's wearing is still finery. He's got very much like the embroidery and the stuff and the like. Like, this is one of his classic outfits. To one side of his desk, there is what you know to be a very old and well used arcane wand made out of twisted wood with a crystal on the end. And there is a very carefully ordered papers and things. There's his wax seal, fresh quill and ink well and things like that. All of those laid out to one side, and he's just sat back in his chair, watches you come in with a very dark gaze.
So I will step in and give an extremely formal bow, like quite a deep one. Count Tennyson.
Nephew.
I
So what do
appreciate
I owe this visit?
I appreciate your time is precious. I will take up no more than I need. I have been making inroads with House Elurian.
Why?
Well, with unrest being as it is, having a noble city a noble house that is originally so entrenched within the traditions of Kintargo, now choosing this moment to follow the Lord Mayor, I thought it would be prudent to ensure both that their intentions are genuine in supporting the Lord Mayor, rather than, say, a moment of crass opportunism. But more importantly, to secure their legacy and their loyalty.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, this might not go exactly as you wish it would. That new beast that they've got from the Lord Mayor might be the only security they think they need.
As formidable as any creature from hell may be, it is a very poor defense against the likes of the unfortunate state of House Victor Cora, for example. They are speaking with them. They are interested in making inroads to more formalized agreements with our house and others.
And what exactly are we hoping to get out of this agreement?
Well, anything up to and including a vassal house.
You think you can swing that?
I think we can make inroads.
Why now? Why are you coming here to my office now on something that has never been mentioned by either one of us before?
You know that, truthfully and fully, my full allegiance is to this city, don't you?
I have an idea of where your allegiances are.
It is of pivotal concern to me that this building unrest, however it is being managed by the Hell Knight orders, by the Lord Mayor, by such people, that it does not descend into a state of crumbled anarchy, that we do not lose good people in the process of whatever form this change may take. I think it is important at this stage for, amongst other things, of course the house can look to take advantage of a situation such as this. That is the reason why we have succeeded as far as we have. But at this moment, a gesture of solidarity would go a very long way in securing the loyalty of those smaller families, those merchant houses, those people who are currently unsure of where their loyalty should lie.
All right, how about this? You go and talk with Lord Auxus or Count Auxus on these matters. You get a deal out of him you think I would value. You bring it to me. We celebrate over wine. You fail, don't come in this house again.
By your order, Count.
I will not have you throwing my name around, throwing this family's name around when you can't back it up. Am I understood?
Yes, Uncle.
Very well, then we're done here.
Gesture, by your leave. And then bow my head and head out.
Okay. Yeah. You've had the go ahead. From the sounds of it, he's not making anybody else go with you. And you've got an ultimatum.
Yeah. So I will head back to the others and probably with the face of someone who looks like they have been through the wars.
What he said? He said no. He said no. Oh well, it's all right. We'll go with the bird plan. Like we can go with the bird plan, Bluebird. It's fine.
He said yes.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
You remember when you said that the life of a noble was exhausting?
Mm-hmm.
When it is someone with whom you have a contentious relationship, such as I have with Count Tennyson, it is twice as much so.
Right. So do you have one of his guys coming with you? We got more guys?
He has trusted me to handle the negotiations myself.
Look, there you go. He clearly thinks you're a good noble, whatever that means.
I suspect when it comes to those who might inherit his title when he passes on, there are slim pickings.
All right. So on that note, we have stage one of the plan at least secured in concept. How much of this do you want to get into today, or do you want to start fresh next time with the whole plan?
Given what's sort of just been said in the private chat, I think maybe it would be a good time to. We've got a clear direction. We know what we're doing for next time, which is Blueblood and Sebastian going in the front door and talking, and the rest of everybody else on watch outside for if it goes wrong, not when it goes wrong.
Yep.
I think maybe having a slightly earlier finish would be good for some people. So that's probably it.
Is there any other like prep work you want to do now before you get there this time that you can think of?
Yes. So I'm going to spend the 5 gold pieces to get a. So I'm going to get a set of squire's clothing.
Nice.
Which has the insignia of House Tennyson on it.
Okay. So Sebastian has his disguise.
Because the best disguises are ones that are literally just the thing.
Yep. If
And then-
Sebastian does need to make any rolls, I will be giving you a circumstantial bonus because you're wearing the uniform.
Right.
Cool.
And then I will basically send out an official. It's one of those ones where it's like it's worded like it's worded like a friendly thing, but it's basically saying, "I am coming tomorrow. Be prepared."
Nice. Okay. So yeah, you guys have a day for any other conversations, any other plans, any other investigating you guys want to do related to this or separate to this, if you wanted to.
Asmoth will happily take potion orders. If not, he'll brew up just some generic stuff and maybe some things just so he's not spending all of his extracts on stuff he uses all the time.
Fair.
But I'd probably also try and have some of the Tiefling network try and like scope out the place a little bit and try and get his own lay of the land beforehand.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. You manage a couple of the tieflings who are very good at disguising themselves or are very good at getting into places that they shouldn't, are able to come back to you within a day before Blue Bloods arrives there and basically tells you that while there are guards, there are some guards like in and around the building. There's normally no more than maybe 4. And it seems that at least the outside of the estate, the security has been almost entirely left to the Cerberus. They can't tell if it's because they're trusting the Cerberus to be doing a lot, if they're trusting the Cerberus to scare off anybody who tries, or if it's because they don't know if the human guards are able to get close enough to the Cerberus to do their job. But yeah, that's what they're able to get for you. No more than maybe 4 human guards, their main defense. Oh, they will also let you know, on the topic of getting into the estate. They didn't actually go into it proper, but they confirm for you what the western side looks like, which is the side that you... what most of it looks like, but they focus on the western side. So the gate on the western side is kept locked with a pretty good lock. That's kept locked at all times. Nobody really came through that gate. The fence is about 12 foot high, easy enough to scale, but the hedges inside are gonna then make it impossible for anybody to get over the other side quickly and quietly, because you're gonna fall into a hedge and you're gonna end up in brambles. They also will point out that the gardens from the wall to the building is entirely flat. Like there's a fountain in the middle of the road going up to the house, but otherwise everything is just green grass. There are no hiding places between the wall and the building. The windows on the ground floor are barred, but not the ones on the second floor. And they are able to tell you that the ivy that grows up to the second floor, they think is quite easy to scale. The second floors are about 15 foot off the ground.
Ash.
Yeah.
I would like to nip home. Obviously, give sausages a pat, and then head up to Lanry's room, to the only bit in her room that I actually go in and kind of tend to, which is a kind of hidden, like in a bell jar and away from the window. There's a small sort of rose, not a bush. That's too grand. More like a pot rose. Like like one almost one you could pick up in Tesco's if we were going to like cross the streams. Very small affair. And I would like to pluck one of the flowers, and put it in my pocket, ready to secrete within my pocketed scarf. So I will say I'm going to do this not right now, but before the plan enacts. I would like to cast a Trail of the Rose on this rose. And then give it to Sebastian and designate myself and the rest of the Silver Ravens as those who can see the trail that is given off, the sweet-smelling scent trail that is given off by the rose. So at least we kind of know, even if we don't know exactly where he is once he's in, we'll know where he's been. And hopefully that will help us find him if it should all go to shit.
Cool. That's cool. When you, obviously this will all be happening tomorrow, like in the run up to it. Anybody who wants to, who can, roll Knowledge Arcana for me.
Oh, I can do that.
Not you, anyone else.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Oops. Yes. Do I need to make a bluff check? It lasts several hours, so I assume I can just do this outside casting it.
You can do, you can do it in a way that nobody sees you cast it.
Yeah.
When you describe what it does, Asmoth, the Trail of the Rose is not a spell that a wizard can cast. It's most people that can cast this, that you've heard of being able to cast this, are either bards or clerics.
I make no comment.
That's what that is.
Asmoth is just staring at Whist, and just like.
I'd like to do a sense motive check, please.
Okay. Are you hiding anything? Are you trying to hide anything, Asmoth?
Just looking at Whist and going,
You get that.
He's
looking at you pointedly.
Yeah. Say, what? I've got it on a wand.
Powerful wizard indeed.
Yeah. Spell component shop, innit?
I love the wizard. It's so good. Okay. So yes, we will remember that Trail of the Rose is up for next time, and that's basically on Sebastian.
It's also like the most Milani coded.
It is so Milani coded.
Just a wizard.
Just
I
a
know
wizard.
nothing. Right.
Okay, in that case, I think, unless there's anything else, we shall call it there. It is close to 10. All right. In that case, we have had various noble dealings, some of which were probably more enjoyed than others. But we do at this point have a plan to go deliver a message and get one back.
Ooh. Social combat. Oof.
It's all right. We're doing it for true love.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, you guys, for playing, and thank you for anyone who is still watching along with us and enjoying this. Again, we are playing this game and appearing monthly to raise money for the Albert Kennedy Trust, which is a charity based in the UK, which is tackling homelessness and unsafe housing for LGBT plus children, youth, young adults, making sure they all have a safe place to live. It's a really good cause, especially with the current climate that we are in. Let's make sure that everyone's got a safe place to live. But otherwise, thank you very much. And we'll see you next month, if not sooner. I believe that Gender Maker's probably going to be making a reappearance soon.
Yes, on the 21st.
There we go. 21st for Gender Maker. And with that, have a good summer, and we'll see you next time.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.